All right, I am thoroughly enjoying this week as we lead up to game week 1. And you know what? Dave and Brian are right. We have all of this talk about who we want in our teams to start the season. And we realize as soon as the season starts that we were wrong. We hardly knew anything. And we want to play our first half wild card now as soon as possible. The good news is, as a tactic, playing that first half wild card might not be that terrible of an idea because you get an extra one this year with the World Cup break. But anyway, that's another topic for another day. Today I want to talk about a couple of teams that are on the fringe of European play and have been for the last couple of seasons and what that means for our FPL lineups, West Ham and Leicester. For West Ham, it begins and ends with Jared Bowen, in my opinion. I know in past years, last year specifically, I endorsed Aaron Cresswell, and he's still Mr. Consistent. He'll play as long as he's not hurt. He will play. He will occasionally score significant points. At the end of the season, it's going to look really good in the overall standings how he has done. But this year, I'm focused in on Jared Bowen. And Brian is absolutely right. You'll hear one more podcast episode from us, hopefully later today or tomorrow, just enough time to get the final word in before your Friday lineups lock. But when it comes to West Ham, the only reason why we're not talking about Jared Bowen more is because West Ham plays Man City game week 1. But don't forget what West Ham did to City last year. Jared Bowen will absolutely be capable of scoring fantasy points even game week 1, and then the schedule gets better after that. It can hardly get worse when City is your game week 1 opponent. So Jared Bowen is in my lineup. He's part of my 5-man midfield that I plan to play. I plan to play a 4-5-1 for the majority, or at least as of now for the season. I've got a strategy in play. 4-5-1 is what it is, and Jared Bowen is in it, even for game week 1. For Leicester, things are a little less rosy. Things are weird there. Schmeichel leaving, last year, the Braj wanting to leave and then not leaving. It feels funny. It feels really weird, and it wouldn't surprise me if Brendan Rodgers is out as Leicester manager before or during the World Cup break. But for now, there are a couple of discount options that are interesting. We've talked about James Justin as a 4.5 defender, only because he's good. But I don't know if the Leicester defense is going to be any good. And so I currently don't have him in my lineup, but I don't blame anyone who maybe is willing to take a flyer on him. The guy who is in my lineup for Leicester is Kieran Dewsbury-Hall. Scored a goal last weekend in their preseason match. He's at £5. He's my 5th midfielder at £5. And he is the reason why I am okay having Patrick Bamford as my 1 forward and not Gabriel Jesus. Bamford is £0.5 cheaper than Jesus. In my opinion, Bamford plus KDH is better than Jesus and whatever 4.5 midfielder you have. I'm sorry, I just think that that's the case. The money's equal, but I will take my combo over yours any day. With that said, I currently do have a way for Jesus and KDH in my lineup. So we'll see if that stays that way as we go throughout the week. But Kieran Dewsbury-Hall, I know that Brian has a different 5.0 midfielder in mind. You'll hear that on the pod and in a later video that I publish this week when I get to that club. But for now, forget KDB. I'll take me some KDH.